My mother-in-law scheduled their wedding same day as mine. Same venue. I'm staring at my phone screen, reading the text message for the 5th time, and I still can't believe what I'm seeing. Hi honey. Just wanted to let you know that Tyler and I booked Sunset Ridge Vineyard for October 15th. Can't wait to celebrate our special day at such a beautiful venue. 2 hearts. October 15th, MY October 15th, my venue. My hands are literally shaking as I screenshot the message from my soon-to-be sister-in-law Melissa. She has no idea what bomb she just dropped. Hell, she probably doesn't even know that her future mother-in-law Linda has been playing some twisted game behind everyone's back. I need to call David immediately, but first I'm pulling up my email confirmation from Sunset Ridge Vineyard. There it is in black and white. Wedding reception for Sarah Chen and David Morrison, October 15th, 2024. Deposit received March 3rd, 2024, $2,500. We put down that deposit 6 months ago. 6 months. I remember the exact moment because I cried happy tears right there in the vineyard coordinator's office while David held my hand. It was the first time our wedding felt real. My phone buzzes with another text, this time from David's cousin Emma. OMG Sarah, did you see about Tyler and Melissa's wedding? Same place as yours. What are the odds? Linda must be so excited to have both her sons married at the same venue. Both her sons. That's when it hits me like a freight train. Linda did this on purpose. I think back to 3 weeks ago when she came over for dinner, gushing about how absolutely perfect our venue choice was. You have such exquisite taste, Sarah, she'd said, walking around our apartment and touching everything like she was appraising it. That vineyard is exactly the kind of place I've always dreamed of for my boys' weddings. At the time, I thought she was being supportive for once. Linda Morrison has never made it easy for me. 2 years of backhanded compliments, helpful suggestions about my career, and pointed comments about how David's ex-girlfriend Jessica was such a natural with the family. I genuinely believed we'd turned a corner. How naive could I be? My phone rings, and David's name flashes on the screen. I answer before the first ring finishes. Sarah, you're not going to believe what just happened. His voice is tight, stressed. My mom just called me, and she's furious. She says there's been some kind of mix-up with wedding venues, and that you. Let me guess, I cut him off, my voice steadier than I feel. She says I stole Tyler and Melissa's venue? That I'm being selfish and unreasonable? Silence on the other end. David? How did you? Sarah, she said you booked Sunset Ridge after finding out about Tyler's plans. She has the family group chat going crazy. My dad's calling it unfortunate timing, and my aunts are asking why you can't just pick somewhere else since there are so many venues available. I close my eyes and count to 5. David, we booked that venue in March. March 3rd, to be exact. I have the email confirmation, the credit card statement, and the contract. Your mother knew this. She was at our engagement party when we announced the date and location to everyone. That's impossible. Mom said Tyler and Melissa have been planning this for months, and that you must have overheard somehow and decided to book the same place as some kind of power play. The audacity is breathtaking. Linda isn't just trying to steal my wedding venue, she's systematically turning David's entire family against me, making me look like the villain in a situation she orchestrated. But she picked the wrong bride to mess with. David, I need you to listen to me very carefully, I say, walking to my laptop and pulling up our wedding planning folder. I'm going to send you 3 things right now, our venue contract, the email confirmation from March 3rd, and the credit card statement showing the $2,500 deposit. Look at the timestamps. I hear him breathing on the other end as I attach the files and hit send. Check your email. Sarah, I believe you, but... No buts. Look at the evidence first, then we talk. The silence stretches for 2 minutes while I pace around our living room. I can practically hear David's worldview shifting as he processes what he's seeing. Oh my god, he whispers. The deposit, yours is dated March 3rd. But that means... It means your mother has been planning this for weeks, David. She didn't just happen to book the same venue. She deliberately chose our date, our location, and now she's spinning it like I'm the one who copied them. But why would she do that? Sometimes I forget how genuinely good David is, how he doesn't naturally assume the worst in people. It's one of the reasons I love him, but right now his naivety is infuriating. Because she wants me gone, David. She's never liked me, and now she's trying to humiliate me in front of your entire family. Look at what's happening, I'm suddenly the selfish, conniving bride who stole her precious Tyler's venue. She's turning me into the villain. My phone starts buzzing with notifications. The Morrison family group chat, the one Linda conveniently never added me to, is apparently in full swing. David's cousin Emma is texting me privately, Sarah, Linda is saying you refuse to change venues even though Tyler picked Sunset Ridge first. She says you're being really unreasonable. What's going on? Then another text, this time from David's sister Julie, hey, can you call me? Mom is really upset about this venue situation. She thinks you're trying to upstage Tyler and Melissa. And another from David's Aunt Patricia, sweetie, I'm sure we can work this out. Maybe you could look at the Grandview Country Club instead? It's lovely this time of year. David, check your phone. Your family is texting me right now, asking me to change our venue. Your Aunt Patricia is suggesting alternatives. This is happening in real time. I hear him swear under his breath. Sarah, I had no idea. Mom made it sound like Tyler booked first and you were being stubborn about switching. Call the venue, I say. Right now. Ask them about both bookings. Ask them who booked first, who put down what deposit, and when everything was confirmed. I will, but Sarah, what if Tyler and Melissa don't know? What if Mom booked this without telling them it was the same date and venue as ours? That stops me cold. I hadn't considered that Linda might have manipulated Tyler and Melissa too. When is Tyler supposed to be getting married? October 15th, according to Mom. But when did they get engaged? Last month. August 20th, I think? It was at that family barbecue, David stops mid-sentence. Wait. That's only been 3 weeks ago. And somehow they managed to book the most popular wedding venue in the county, on a Saturday in peak fall season, with 3 weeks' notice? The pieces click together audibly. Unless someone had inside information about an already booked date, David says slowly. Unless someone knew exactly when and where to book. Your mother played us all, David. The question is, what are we going to do about it? I'm calling the venue right now, David says, and I can hear the anger building in his voice. This is insane. While he dials, I'm staring at my phone as more messages flood in. David's grandmother Ruth, the family matriarch who everyone adores, just texted me, "Dear, Linda explained the situation. I'm sure you understand that Tyler, being the older son, should have priority for family events. Perhaps you could consider a winter wedding? They're quite lovely." My heart sinks. Linda got to Grandma Ruth first. In the Morrison family hierarchy, Ruth's word is basically law. If she thinks I'm being unreasonable, I'm already fighting an uphill battle. Sarah? David's voice cuts through my panic. I've got Amanda from Sunset Ridge on the line. She's confused. He puts the call on speaker, and I hear Amanda's professional but strained voice. So just to clarify, we have 2 Morrison wedding bookings for October 15th. Sarah Chen and David Morrison booked our premium package on March 3rd with a $2,500 deposit. Then on September 2nd, that's 3 weeks ago, Linda Morrison booked our basic package for Tyler Morrison and Melissa Hayes, same date, with a $1,000 deposit. September 2nd, I repeat. The day after Tyler and Melissa's engagement party. Yes, and honestly, Amanda continues, this is unprecedented. Linda was very insistent that the March booking was a mistake, that her son Tyler had verbal priority for that date. She said the family had discussed it extensively and that Sarah had misunderstood the arrangements. My mouth drops open. She told you I made a mistake? That I booked the wrong date? She was very convincing, Amanda says diplomatically. She mentioned that there might be some confusion about deposits and suggested we work with both parties to resolve it. She also said you'd be calling to modify your booking once the family sorted things out. David runs his hand through his hair. Amanda, I need you to understand something. My fiancé and I had no idea about my brother's wedding plans. We didn't even know he was planning to get married in October until today. Oh. Amanda's voice gets smaller. Oh no. This is very awkward. What exactly did Linda tell you? I ask. She said Tyler had been planning an October 15th wedding since last Christmas, and that there had been a miscommunication within the family. She seemed to know details about your booking, the deposit amount, the specific package you'd chosen. She said you'd realize your mistake once Tyler talked to his brother. The manipulation runs deeper than I thought. Linda didn't just book Tyler's wedding on our date, she actively tried to convince the venue that I was the one making the error. Amanda, I say carefully, do you have a record of any previous inquiries from Tyler Morrison or Melissa Hayes before September 2nd? Let me check, no. No inquiries, no site visits, no emails. Linda Morrison was the first contact we had regarding their wedding. David looked sick. What about the packages? You said Linda booked the basic package? Yes, the $1,000 deposit covers our basic reception package. Sarah and David's booking is for our premium package, full bridal suite access, extended hours, upgraded catering options, the works. Something clicks. Amanda, what's the total cost difference between the two packages? Premium is $8,500 total, basic is $4,200. Linda wasn't just trying to steal my venue, she was trying to get Tyler a wedding at half the cost by forcing me out of the premium booking. She probably figured I'd be so upset about the conflict that I'd walk away entirely, leaving Tyler and Melissa to upgrade to our package. There's something else, Amanda says hesitantly. Linda mentioned that Sarah might be difficult to work with during this process. She suggested that if Sarah became unreasonable about the double booking, we should prioritize the family's long-term relationship with the venue. Long-term relationship? David asks. She implied that the Morrison family would be hosting multiple events with us, anniversaries, birthday parties, possibly future weddings for other family members. She positioned it as a significant business relationship. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Let me guess, she suggested that I'm not really part of the Morrison family yet, so my booking should be considered temporary? Amanda's silence is answer enough. David, I say, my voice deadly calm, your mother didn't just try to steal our wedding. She tried to have me blacklisted from our own venue. The silence on the phone stretches so long I wonder if the call dropped. Then I hear David breathing, slow and controlled, the way he does when he's trying not to explode. Amanda, his voice is eerily calm, I need you to email me everything. Every communication with my mother, every document she signed, timestamps on all of it. Of course, Mr. Morrison. And I want you to know, your original booking is completely secure. You have clear priority, Anne. What about Tyler's booking? I interrupt. What happens to them? Another pause. Well, technically, we can't host 2 weddings the same day. The second booking will have to be cancelled. Linda's deposit is refundable since this was a misunderstanding. After we hang up, David immediately calls Tyler. I can only hear one side of the conversation, but Tyler's shot comes through clearly in David's responses. Wait, what? Tyler, slow down. You thought the venue was available because Mom told you what? No, Sarah booked in March, we have documentation. What do you mean she showed you a cancellation email? My blood turns to ice. Put him on speaker. Tyler, I'm putting you on speaker so Sarah can hear this. Sarah, I am so sorry, Tyler's voice is rushed, panicked. I had no idea. Mom told us that you and David had decided Sunset Ridge was too expensive and cancelled your booking. She showed us an email from the venue confirming the cancellation. She showed you a fake email? I can barely process this. It looked real. It had the venue letterhead and everything. She said you were looking at cheaper alternatives and that David was too embarrassed to tell me directly. She thought it would be perfect if Melissa and I took over the date since you guys were moving to a winter wedding anyway. David's jaw is clenched so tight I'm worried about his teeth. Tyler, we never cancelled anything. We've been planning this wedding for months. Oh God, Melissa is going to be devastated. She already ordered invitations. We sent save the dates to her whole family yesterday. Tyler sounds like he's going to be sick. Sarah, what did we do? How do we fix this? Before I can answer, my phone starts ringing. Linda's name flashes on the screen. Don't answer it, David says immediately. No, I want to hear this. I accept the call. Hello, Linda. Sarah, sweetie, I just got off the phone with that venue coordinator. I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. The fake sweetness in her voice makes my skin crawl. Really? What kind of misunderstanding? Well, it seems like their booking system got confused and double booked the date. These things happen with smaller venues. I've already spoken to Tyler and Melissa, and they're perfectly willing to work with you to find a solution that makes everyone happy. I catch David's eye and mouth recording while tapping my phone screen. He nods. That's so generous of him, Linda. What kind of solution did you have in mind? Well, since Tyler is the older son and this is such short notice for them to find another venue, I was hoping you might consider moving your date. Maybe November? I know a lovely country club that has availability, and I'd be happy to help cover any additional costs from switching. Linda, can I ask when Tyler first mentioned wanting an October 15th wedding? Oh, honey, he's been dreaming of an October wedding for years. Ever since he was little, he's talked about fall colors and harvest themes. It's always been his favorite season. I'm actually impressed by how smoothly she lies. And when did he first mention Sunset Ridge specifically? Well, after your engagement party, he mentioned how beautiful it looked in your photos. He said it was exactly what he'd always pictured. So he decided he wanted our exact venue after seeing our photos? Great minds think alike, I suppose. The Morrison boys have always had similar taste. Tyler's voice cuts through the background of David's phone. Mom, that's not what happened. You suggested Sunset Ridge. You said Sarah canceled and the date was available. The line goes dead. David and Tyler are staring at their phones in disbelief. In her panic to control the narrative, Linda just hung up on a three-way call where Tyler contradicted her story in real time. Well, I guess we know exactly who we're dealing with now. My phone explodes with notifications over the next hour. The Morrison family group chat has apparently reached nuclear levels, and now individual family members are texting me directly as word spreads about Linda's deception. David's sister Julie, Sarah, I owe you a massive apology. Tyler just told us what really happened. I can't believe Mom did this. His cousin Emma, OMG Sarah, I feel so stupid. Linda made it sound like you were being a bridezilla. I'm mortified. But the text that makes my stomach drop comes from David's Aunt Patricia. Honey, I just spoke with your Grandma Ruth. She's very upset about the family drama and thinks maybe it's best if both weddings are postponed until everyone can calm down. She's talking about having a family meeting. David, I call him over to read Patricia's message. Your grandmother wants to postpone both weddings. He runs his hands through his hair. This is exactly what my mom wanted. Create so much chaos that everyone just wants it to go away. Before I can respond, my phone rings. It's Melissa, Tyler's fiancée, and she's crying before I even say hello. Sarah, I am so sorry, she sobs. I had no idea. Linda told us you guys decided to do a destination wedding instead and that the venue was available. She even helped us pick out centerpieces that would match the vineyard's aesthetic. Melissa, it's not your fault. But it is. I should have called you directly. I should have thought it was weird that you changed venues so suddenly. I was just so excited about having the perfect fall wedding that I didn't question it. I hear Tyler in the background. Tell her about the guest list. Oh God, there's more, Melissa continues. Linda asked for your guest list. She said it was so she could coordinate family seating arrangements and make sure there wouldn't be any awkward overlaps with mutual friends. My blood runs cold. She asked for our guest list? She said you were sharing vendors and wanted to make sure you weren't competing for the same photographer or caterer. It seemed thoughtful at the time. David grabs my arm. Sarah, what if she contacted our vendors? I'm already pulling up my contacts, dialing our photographer first. It goes straight to voicemail, but our caterer picks up on the second ring. Hi Marcus, this is Sarah Chin. I'm calling about our October 15th wedding at Sunset Ridge. Oh, Sarah. I was just about to call you. I had the strangest conversation with someone claiming to represent the Morrison family. Linda Morrison? She said there might be changes to your catering needs and asked for details about your menu selections. When did she call? Yesterday afternoon. She said you were considering downsizing the reception and might want to switch to our budget package. She asked for a breakdown of costs for both your current premium menu and our basic options. My heart is pounding. Marcus, please tell me you didn't give her any information. Well, she seemed to know quite a bit already. She mentioned your preference for the salmon entree and the fact that you'd requested 2 vegetarian alternatives. She said you were having second thoughts about the cost. She was fishing for information to plan Tyler's wedding, I realize out loud. She wanted to copy our entire menu. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Marcus, our wedding is still happening exactly as planned. Please don't make any changes to our booking without speaking directly to me or David. And if anyone else calls claiming to represent our families, get their contact information and call us immediately. After I hang up, David is already on the phone with our florist. His face is grim as he listens. Our florist says Linda called this morning asking about coordinating fall arrangements for 2 Morrison family weddings. She tried to get Jennifer to quote the same floral package for Tyler's wedding, claiming it was for family consistency. She's not just stealing our venue, I say slowly. She's trying to steal our entire wedding. David's phone buzzes with a text from Tyler, emergency family meeting called. Mom wants everyone at their house in an hour. She says there are things about Sarah that the family needs to know. My chest tightens. She's going nuclear. We're not going, David says immediately. No, we have to go. If we don't show up, she controls the narrative completely. She'll tell them we're hiding something or that I'm too ashamed to face the family. Sarah, she's setting a trap. Then we spring it first. I'm already moving toward my laptop. We're going to that meeting, and we're bringing evidence. Every email, every contract, every receipt. And we're bringing Tyler and Melissa as witnesses. David looks at me like I've lost my mind. You want to walk into my mother's house and ambush her in front of the entire family? Your mother started this war, David. She made it about family loyalty and painted me as the villain. Fine. Let's see how loyal the family feels when they see exactly what she's been doing. My phone buzzes with one more text, this one from Grandma Ruth herself. Dear Sarah, I think it's time we all sat down and discussed this situation properly. I hope you'll join us this evening. There are some concerns about how this has all been handled. I show David the message. His face goes pale. If Grandma Ruth has concerns about how I've handled this, your mother has already gotten to her with whatever story she's planning to tell tonight. So what do? I look at him steadily. We make sure she doesn't get the chance to tell it. The drive to the Morrison family house feels like heading to an execution. David's knuckles are white on the steering wheel, and I'm clutching a folder thick with printed emails, contracts, and bank statements. My stomach churns every time I think about walking into Linda's territory, surrounded by his entire family. We should have brought a lawyer, I mutter for the third time. Sarah, it's a family meeting, not a court hearing. Your mother forged venue cancellation emails. This stopped being a family meeting the moment she committed fraud. David pulls into his parents' driveway behind Tyler's car. Through the living room windows, I can see silhouettes of people already gathered. My throat tightens when I count them, at least 8 family members, maybe more. David, wait. I grab his arm before he can get out. What if this backfires? What if they all side with her anyway? He turns to look at me, and for the first time since this nightmare started, his eyes are completely clear. Then we'll know exactly where we stand with my family. And we'll plan our wedding without them. The front door opens before we reach it. Linda stands there in her best hostess mode, perfectly styled hair, welcoming smile, arms open for hugs. The performance is flawless. David, sweetheart. And Sarah, I'm so glad you came. We really need to clear the air about this whole situation. She hugs David first, whispering something in his ear that makes his jaw clench. When she turns to hug me, her voice drops so only I can hear. I hope you're prepared to be reasonable tonight, dear. The living room is packed. Grandma Ruth sits in her usual chair by the fireplace, looking stern and disappointed. David's father Frank stands behind her, arms crossed. Julie and her husband Mark occupy the couch, while Emma and her boyfriend squeeze into the love seat. Tyler and Melissa sit at the dining room table, both looking miserable. David's Aunt Patricia and Uncle Robert round out the crowd, whispering quietly in the corner. Linda claps her hands together like she's calling a book club to order. Now that we're all here, I think it's important that we address this venue situation before it tears our family apart. Before it tears our family apart? David steps forward. Mom, you're the one who. David, please. Let me finish. Linda's voice carries that particular authority that's silenced him since childhood. I've called everyone here because there are some things about this situation that you don't know. Things about how this booking really happened. My heart starts racing. She's about to lie to everyone, and she's confident enough to do it with me sitting right here. Sarah, honey, I know you're probably embarrassed about this, but I think it's time to tell everyone the truth. Grandma Ruth leans forward. What truth, Linda? Well, Linda sighs dramatically. Sarah called me 3 weeks ago, very upset about wedding costs. She said she and David were having financial troubles and needed to cancel their venue booking. She asked if I knew anyone who might be interested in taking over their date so they could get their deposit back. The room goes completely silent. I feel every pair of eyes turn to me. That's when I thought of Tyler and Melissa, Linda continues. They'd just gotten engaged and needed a venue quickly. Sarah seemed relieved that we could help her out of a tight spot. Tyler starts to speak, but Linda holds up her hand. I know you're confused, Tyler. Sarah asked me not to tell you where the venue availability came from because she was embarrassed about the financial issues. She said she'd rather you think it was just lucky timing. Julie's husband Mark shakes his head. But Sarah, why are you trying to keep the venue now if you couldn't afford it 3 weeks ago? My mouth opens, but no sound comes out. The setup is perfect. Linda's story explains everything, why Tyler's wedding was booked so quickly, why there's a conflict now, even why I might seem unreasonable for refusing to give up the venue. And she's telling it with such sincere concern that I can see family members nodding along. That's why I wanted to handle this privately, Linda adds softly. I was hoping Sarah and David could work out their budget issues without involving the whole family. But when Sarah demanded that Tyler cancel his wedding instead, she trails off with a helpless shrug. The accusation hangs in the air like poison gas. David's Aunt Patricia looks at me with pity. Sarah, honey, there's no shame in having money problems. Young couples face financial stress all the time. But I don't understand, Grandma Ruth says, her voice sharp with confusion. If Sarah needed to cancel for financial reasons, why is she fighting to keep the venue now? Linda's eyes glitter with triumph. I think Sarah hoped that once Tyler's wedding was announced, David's pride would kick in. That he'd insist on keeping their original booking regardless of the cost, maybe ask the family for help paying for it. The room erupts in uncomfortable murmurs. I can practically see Linda's narrative taking root in their minds. Poor Sarah, too embarrassed to admit financial troubles, trying to manipulate the situation to get her dream wedding funded by the Morrison family. But Tyler suddenly stands up, his face flushed with anger. Mom, stop. Just stop lying. Linda's composure cracks for just a second. Tyler, sweetheart, I know this is awkward. You told us Sarah canceled. Tyler's voice cuts across the room. You showed us a fake cancellation email. You said they were doing a destination wedding. Melissa pulls out her phone with shaking hands. I still have your text messages, Linda. You never mentioned financial problems. You said Sarah decided Sunset Ridge was too rustic and wanted something more elegant. The room temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. Linda's mouth opens and closes, but for the first time tonight, no smooth words come out. I find my voice at last. David, show them the recording. What recording? Julie asks. David pulls out his phone. The phone call where Mom tried to convince Sarah to give up the venue. The one where she claimed Tyler had been dreaming of an October wedding since he was little. Linda's face goes white. David, you can't record private family conversations. But you can forge venue cancellation emails? My voice is steady now, all the fear replaced by cold fury. You can call our vendors pretending to represent us? You can lie to your own family? Frank steps forward, his voice heavy with confusion. Linda, what are they talking about? What emails? Tyler pulls out his phone and scrolls through his photos. Dad, she showed us this. He holds up a screenshot of what looks like an official email from Sunset Ridge Vineyard, complete with letterhead, confirming the cancellation of Sarah Chan and David Morrison's wedding booking. Grandma Ruth adjusts her glasses, squinting at the phone screen. That looks very official. Because Mom made it look official, David says grimly. Amanda from the venue confirmed they never sent any cancellation emails. Their booking system shows Sarah's deposit from March 3rd, never cancelled, never modified. I open my folder and pull out our printed bank statement. Here's the credit card charge from March 3rd, $2,500 to Sunset Ridge Vineyard. Never refunded. Emma leans forward to look at the statement. But Linda, if Sarah never cancelled, how did you book Tyler's wedding for the same date? Linda looks around the room, searching for support, but every face is waiting for an answer. There must have been some miscommunication with the venue. These small businesses, they're not always organized. Mom, David's voice is dangerously quiet. Amanda told us exactly what you said to her. You claimed Sarah had made a booking mistake. You said Sarah would call to fix it once the family sorted things out. You tried to convince the venue coordinator that Sarah was confused about her own wedding date. Julie gasps. Mom, you didn't. You told the venue that I might be difficult to work with, I add, my voice gaining strength. You suggested they should prioritize the Morrison family's long-term relationship over my individual booking. Patricia's husband Robert, who's been silent until now, clears his throat. Linda, this is sounding less like a misunderstanding and more like, well, like fraud. The word hangs in the air like a bomb that just detonated. Linda straightens up, her mask of concerned mother-in-law finally slipping completely. How dare you come into my house and accuse me of criminal behavior? I was trying to help my son plan his wedding. By sabotaging mine? I stand up, and I'm surprised by how calm I feel. By calling our photographer and caterer to get information about our menu and vendors? By trying to copy our entire wedding? Grandma Ruth's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. Linda Morrison, sit down and explain yourself. Right now. The silence that follows Grandma Ruth's command is deafening. Linda sinks onto the ottoman like a deflated balloon, all her polished confidence evaporating under her mother-in-law's steel gaze. I was protecting this family, Linda says, but her voice wavers. Sarah doesn't understand our traditions, our values. She's not. She's not what? David's voice is ice cold. Linda's eyes dart around the room, looking for any sympathetic face. Finding none, she seems to make a desperate calculation. She's not one of us, David. I've tried to welcome her, but she doesn't fit. The way she talks about money, flaunting expensive venues while complaining about student loans. The way she corrects your grammar at family dinners. She thinks she's better than us. My mouth drops open. I've never corrected David's grammar. You did at Easter, Linda insists. When he said between you and I instead of between you and me. You gave him this look. Julie stares at her mother in disbelief. Mom, you tried to destroy Sarah's wedding because you think she's a grammar snob? It's not just that. Linda's composure cracks completely. It's everything. The way she talks about her career like it's more important than family. The way she never offers to help in the kitchen during holidays. She sits there discussing politics with the men while the women are cleaning up. Emma laughs incredulously. You mean she participates in conversations instead of doing dishes? This isn't about gender roles, Linda snaps. It's about respect. It's about understanding your place in this family. Grandma Ruth's voice could cut glass. Linda, what exactly do you think Sarah's place should be? Linda seems to realize she's digging her own grave, but she can't stop talking. Tyler's been part of this family his whole life. He understands our dynamics. When he brings Melissa to family events, she fits right in. She asks about my recipes, she plays with the kids, she doesn't challenge every tradition we have. I've never challenged your traditions, I say quietly. You refuse to wear white to your engagement party. The room goes dead silent. I'm wearing a navy blue dress to their family gatherings apparently constitutes a rejection of Morrison family values. Tyler stands up abruptly. Mom, do you hear yourself? You're talking about Sarah like she's some kind of foreign invader instead of David's fiancée. She is foreign, Linda mutters, then catches herself. I mean, her family has different customs. My family is from California, I interrupt. My parents have been married for 32 years. We're not that exotic. Frank finally speaks up, his voice heavy with disappointment. Linda, even if you had concerns about Sarah, this isn't how you handle them. You lied to Tyler and Melissa. You manipulated venue bookings. You tried to turn the whole family against David's choice of wife. I was trying to show everyone who she really is. Linda's voice rises to near hysteria. She's manipulative and calculating. Look how she turned you all against me in one evening. Melissa, who's been quietly crying into Tyler's shoulder, suddenly looks up. Linda, Sarah didn't turn anyone against you. You did that yourself when you lied to us. And the fake email, Tyler adds grimly. Mom, you created a fake business document. That's not family drama, that's actual fraud. Linda whirls on him. Don't you dare take her side over your own mother. I'm not taking sides, Tyler says firmly. I'm looking at facts. You showed us forged emails. You lied about venue availability. You made Melissa and me unknowing accomplices in trying to steal David's wedding. David moves closer to me, his hand finding mine. Mom, I need you to understand something. Sarah is going to be my wife. She's going to be part of this family whether you like it or not. But after tonight, I'm not sure we want to be part of yours. The threat lands like a physical blow. Linda's face crumples. David, you can't mean that. I'm your mother. And you just tried to destroy the most important day of my life because you don't like my choice of partner. Grandma Ruth clears her throat, commanding attention again. Linda, I've heard enough. You owe Sarah a sincere apology, and you owe Tyler and Melissa an explanation for involving them in your scheme. It wasn't a scheme. It was fraud, Uncle Robert says bluntly. Linda, you could face criminal charges for creating fake business documents. Linda's eyes go wide with panic. You wouldn't, we're family. Family doesn't protect you from consequences, Patricia says quietly. What you did was wrong, Linda. Deeply, seriously wrong. I look around the room at these people who, an hour ago, I thought might banish me from their family forever. Now they're all staring at Linda with expressions ranging from disappointment to disgust. But Linda isn't finished. I can see her regrouping, preparing for one final attack. Fine, she says, her voice turning vicious. You all want to side with her? Let me tell you what your precious Sarah really thinks of this family. Linda's eyes glitter with malicious satisfaction as she reaches into her purse. You want to know what Sarah really thinks of this family? I have proof. My blood turns to ice. What could she possibly have? She pulls out her phone and starts scrolling. Sarah, remember that girls' night we had last month? When you had a few too many glasses of wine? I rack my brain, panic rising. Girls' night? Then I remembered Linda had insisted on taking me and Julie out for drinks to bond. I thought it was strange at the time, but David encouraged me to make an effort. You were very chatty that night, Linda continues with a snake-like smile. Very honest about your feelings. Julie looks confused. Mom, what are you talking about? Linda holds up her phone. I recorded some of our conversation. Just little snippets. Sarah said some very interesting things about all of you. The room goes dead silent. My heart is hammering so hard I'm sure everyone can hear it. That's illegal, David says immediately. You can't record someone without consent. Actually, in this state, only one party needs to consent to recording, Uncle Robert says grimly. Linda, please tell me you didn't. But Linda is already pressing play. My own voice fills the room, slightly slurred from wine. Honestly, Julie, I don't know how you stand living so close to your parents. I need at least 1,000 miles between me and that level of family drama. Julie's face falls. I remember that conversation. She'd been complaining about Linda dropping by unannounced constantly, and I was trying to be supportive. But without context, it sounds like I was mocking her for living near family. Linda plays another clip. David's so different when we're alone. More articulate, more ambitious. Sometimes I wonder if he dumps himself down around you guys to fit in. My stomach drops. I remember saying that, but I was defending David after Linda made a snide comment about him being too bookish for construction work. I was trying to explain that he was brilliant, not suggesting he was pretending to be less intelligent around his family. But in Linda's carefully edited clips, I sound like a condescending snob. And here's my personal favorite, Linda says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. She plays another snippet. God, Tyler is such a mama's boy. Melissa's going to have her work cut out for her, breaking him away from Linda's apron strings. Tyler's face goes red. Melissa shrinks into her chair. I remember that conversation too. Linda had been complaining that Tyler never called her anymore, and I was explaining that it was normal for engaged men to prioritize their fiancés. But the clip makes it sound like I was mocking Tyler behind his back. She thinks you're all beneath her, Linda says triumphantly. Small-town people who don't understand her sophisticated city ways. That's not what I meant. I jump up, my voice cracking. Linda, you're taking everything out of context. You asked me specific questions, and then you. I didn't force you to drink, Sarah. I didn't put words in your mouth. David steps forward, his face furious. Mom, this is insane. You secretly recorded Sarah during a private conversation, then edited the clips to make her sound bad? I recorded them to protect this family, Linda shoots back. I knew she was two-faced, and I was right. Emma shakes her head in disgust. Linda, this is beyond manipulative. You got Sarah drunk and then tried to get her to say embarrassing things? I didn't get her drunk. She chose to drink. After you kept ordering bottles of wine, Julie says slowly, her memory apparently returning. Mom, you kept saying we needed to really open up to each other. You were asking leading questions all night. I sink back into my chair, feeling sick. You planned this. The whole girls' night was a setup. I was trying to get to know the real you, Linda says coldly. And I did. Grandma Ruth's voice cuts through the chaos like a whip crack. Linda Morrison, stop this nonsense right now. But Grandma, you heard. I heard audio clips that could have been edited 6 ways from Sunday, Ruth snaps. And even if Sarah said every word exactly as you recorded it, so what? Young women vent to each other about their future in-laws. It's normal. Patricia nods emphatically. Linda, I probably said worse things about you before you married Frank, and we've been friends for 30 years. Linda's mouth falls open. She clearly expected the recordings to be her trump card, the evidence that would turn everyone against me permanently. Instead, Tyler stands up and puts his arm around my shoulders. Sarah, I'm sorry. Mom trapped you into those conversations, didn't she? I nod, too emotional to speak. This is sick, Melissa says quietly. Linda, you invited Sarah out specifically to get her drunk and trick her into saying things you could use against her later. Frank looks at his wife like he's never seen her before. Linda, what have you become? But Linda isn't finished yet. Her face twists with rage as she realizes her final gambit has backfired spectacularly. Fine, she screams. You all want to worship Saint Sarah? Then plan your wedding without me. Plan your whole lives without me. But don't come crying to me when she shows her true colors. She storms toward the door, then whirls around for one last parting shot. And David? When this marriage falls apart, remember that your mother tried to warn you. The front door slams with enough force to rattle the windows. The silence after Linda's dramatic exit stretches so long I can hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. Everyone stares at the front door like they expect her to storm back in with another bombshell. Frank is the first to move, sinking heavily into his recliner and putting his head in his hands. 34 years of marriage, he says quietly. I had no idea she was capable of this. Julie gets up and sits on the arm of his chair, rubbing his shoulder. Dad, none of us saw this coming. Didn't we though? Tyler says bitterly. Mom's been controlling and manipulative my whole life. Remember when I wanted to go to state instead of community college? She told everyone I was having a nervous breakdown and needed to stay close to home. Or when I started dating Marcus in high school, Emma adds. She somehow found out he'd been arrested for shoplifting when he was 12 and made sure his parents heard she knew about it. David runs his hands through his hair. Why didn't anyone ever say anything? Because she's family, Patricia says sadly. And because she was usually more subtle than this. Tonight was extreme even for Linda. Grandma Ruth clears her throat, and everyone turns to her with automatic deference. Sarah, dear, come sit with me. My legs feel shaky as I walk over to her chair. Ruth takes my hands in her weathered ones, studying my face with sharp blue eyes that miss nothing. I owe you an apology, she says firmly. When Linda called me this afternoon with her story about venue conflicts, I should have called you directly instead of assuming there was truth to it. You had no reason to doubt her, I managed to say. I had every reason to doubt her, Ruth corrects. Linda's been stirring up family drama since she married into this family. I suppose I hoped she'd mellowed with age. She sighs deeply. Clearly, I was wrong. Frank looks up from his hands. Sarah, I don't even know where to begin apologizing. My wife tried to destroy your wedding, manipulated my sons, and secretly recorded you to use your words against you later. That's not just wrong, it's deranged. What happens now? Melissa asks quietly. With Tyler's venue booking, I mean. We sent save the dates to my entire family yesterday. The weight of collateral damage settles over the room. Tyler and Melissa are innocent victims in Linda's scheme, but they're still left without a wedding venue 6 weeks before their planned date. We'll figure something out, Tyler says, squeezing her hand. Maybe we can do something smaller, more intimate. Honestly, after tonight, I'm not sure I want a big family celebration anyway. Don't let mom's breakdown ruin your wedding, David tells his brother. You deserve better than that. My phone buzzes with a text message. Then another. And another. What now? David asks, seeing my expression. I check the notifications and my stomach drops. It's from our wedding vendors. Marcus the caterer just texted asking if we're canceling our October date because someone claiming to be Linda Morrison called and said we're postponing indefinitely. David grabs his phone. I've got 3 missed calls from our DJ asking about changes to the Morrison family event schedule. She's sabotaging your vendors now? Emma asks in disbelief. Another text comes through, this one from our photographer. Hi Sarah. Just wanted to confirm Linda Morrison called and said you're switching to a December wedding? She offered to pay our cancellation fee if we could book Tyler Morrison for October 15th instead. Please call me ASAP. Jesus, Frank breathes. She's not giving up. Tyler pulls out his phone, his face grim. 17 missed calls from mom. And she's texting me vendor information with prices attached. He shows us his screen. She wants me to call Sarah's photographer right now and book them for our wedding. Even after everything that just happened? Julie asks. She thinks she can still salvage this, David realizes. She thinks if she can get Tyler's wedding locked in with all our vendors, we'll have no choice but to cancel ours. My phone rings. Linda's name flashes on the screen. Don't answer it, David says immediately. Actually, do, Uncle Robert suggests. But put it on speaker. We need to document what she's doing. I accept the call with shaking hands. Hello, Linda. Sarah, sweetie, I know tonight got heated, but I think we can still work this out. Her voice is sickeningly sweet again, like the nuclear family meeting never happened. I've been making some calls to your vendors, just to explore options for rescheduling. You've been canceling our bookings, I say flatly. Not canceling, just adjusting. I found a lovely December date that would work beautifully for a winter wedding. Very romantic, and I'd be happy to help cover the additional costs for heating and seasonal flowers. Tyler grabs my phone. Mom, stop calling Sarah's vendors. Stop trying to book them for my wedding. We don't want this. Tyler, honey, you're upset about tonight, but I'm upset that you've lost your mind. Tyler shouts. Melissa and I will find our own venue. Leave Sarah and David alone. But sweetheart, I've already put deposits down. The line goes dead. Tyler stares at the phone in horror. She put deposits down, he says slowly. Mom used our names to put deposits down with Sarah's vendors. David is already dialing. Marcus? It's David Morrison. Did Linda Morrison put down any money with you tonight? We can all hear Marcus's tinny voice through the speaker. She paid $500 to hold December 20th for your rescheduled wedding. She said you'd call tomorrow to confirm the date change. My wedding vendors now think I'm getting married in December instead of October, and Linda has financial stakes in making that happen. This is insane, Frank says, staring at his phone. She's using our credit cards. I'm getting notifications for vendor deposits all over town. The scope of Linda's sabotage is becoming clear, and it's far worse than any of us imagined. My phone doesn't stop buzzing for the next 20 minutes. Every vendor we booked is calling or texting, confused about conflicting information they're receiving about our wedding date. Linda isn't just making random calls, she has our complete vendor list, and she's systematically contacting each one with the same story about us rescheduling to December. She must have gotten our planning binder, I realize with growing horror. When she was at our apartment for dinner 3 weeks ago, she was alone in the living room while I was getting dessert from the kitchen. David's face goes white. She photographed our vendor list. Emma shakes her head in disbelief. She's been planning this for weeks. The fake venue cancellation, getting our vendor information, even that girls' night recording, it was all part of some master plan. Frank is frantically calling credit card companies, trying to dispute charges. She spent $800 tonight on vendor deposits using our joint account, he reports grimly. The flower shop, the DJ, someone called Elegant Occasions Photography. That's our photographer, I say, feeling sick. Jennifer's been booked for our date since April. Tyler grabs the phone from his dad and dials. Jennifer? This is Tyler Morrison. My mother just called you about booking October 15th, but I need you to know that date belongs to my brother David and Sarah Chin. Please don't change anything about their booking. We can hear Jennifer's confused voice through the speaker, but Tyler, your mother paid our cancellation fee and put down a new deposit for your wedding. She said David and Sarah were having financial problems and needed to cancel. She had very specific details about their original package. My heart sinks. Linda didn't just call our vendors, she paid them money to secure Tyler's bookings, putting them in an impossible position. How much did she pay you? Tyler asks. $1,500. She said she wanted to lock in all your vendors quickly since it was such short notice. Tyler looks around the room desperately. Jennifer, can you refund that money? My brother's wedding is still happening on October 15th as originally planned. Well, that's where this gets complicated. Jennifer's voice turns professional and cautious. I now have 2 Morrison family bookings for October 15th, both with deposits paid. Someone needs to tell me which wedding is actually happening, because I can't shoot both. The awful genius of Linda's plan becomes clear. She's not just trying to steal our vendors, she's creating such chaos and financial complications that our vendors might refuse to work with either Morrison wedding. Uncle Robert, who's been quiet through most of this, suddenly speaks up. This is harassment. And possibly fraud. Linda is using other people's names to enter into business contracts without their consent. Can we call the police? Melissa asks. For what? Patricia replies sadly. Being a terrible mother-in-law? Unfortunately, family drama isn't illegal. But identity theft might be, Robert counters. If she's using Tyler's name to book vendors without his permission, that could constitute fraud. My phone rings again. This time it's Amanda from Sunset Ridge Vineyard. Sarah, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I just had another very strange call from Linda Morrison. She's insisting that Tyler's wedding is the only legitimate booking for October 15th, and she's demanding we refund your deposit to her directly. She wants our deposit refunded to her? David asks in disbelief. She says since Tyler is taking over the date, your deposit should be transferred to reduce his balance. She also asked for an itemized list of everything you've ordered so Tyler's wedding can have the exact same setup. Linda isn't just trying to steal our wedding, she wants us to pay for it. Amanda, please don't change anything about our booking or give out any information about our packages, I say firmly. And if Linda calls again, please get everything in writing and send us copies. After we hang up, Grandma Ruth's voice cuts through the chaos with surprising steel. That's enough, she announces. Frank, you need to cut off Linda's access to your credit cards immediately. Tyler, you need to call every vendor she contacted tonight and explicitly tell them not to honor any bookings made by your mother. What about the money she already spent? Julie asks. Ruth's smile is sharp as a blade. Linda made this mess. Linda can figure out how to get those deposits back. The next morning brings a fresh nightmare. I wake up to my phone buzzing incessantly with notifications, and my heart drops when I see the first message. It's from my own mother. Honey, I just got the strangest call from David's mother. She said you're having second thoughts about the wedding and wanted me to talk some sense into you? I'm very confused. My blood turns to ice. Linda called my parents. David sits up in bed, immediately alert at my expression. What now? She contacted my family. I scroll through more messages, each one making my stomach turn worse. My sister Amy got a call too. And my grandmother. The messages paint a horrifying picture. Linda didn't just call my parents, she systematically contacted my entire family with a carefully crafted story about me having pre-wedding anxiety and David being concerned about my mental state. David, she told my mother that I've been having panic attacks about the cost of the wedding and that you're worried I'm heading for a breakdown. My phone rings. Mom's contact photo fills the screen. Answer it, David says grimly. We need to know exactly what she said. Hi Mom. Sarah Elizabeth Chan, what in God's name is going on out there? My mother's voice carries that particular tone that used to terrorize me as a teenager. David's mother called me at 6:30 in the morning, sobbing about how worried she is about you. Mom, whatever Linda told you. She said you've been calling off work, crying constantly, and talking about canceling the wedding because you can't handle the stress. She said David asked her to reach out to me because he doesn't know what to do. I look at David, who's shaking his head frantically. Mom, that's completely untrue. I haven't missed a single day of work, and David never asked Linda to call anyone. But she knew so many details, honey. She knew about your student loan payments, your apartment lease renewal, even that promotion you didn't get last month. How would she know those things if David wasn't confiding in her? The answer hits me like a physical blow. Because she's been going through our mail. David grabs my arm. What? Mom, I have to call you back. I hang up and turn to David. Your mother has been in our apartment multiple times over the past month. Remember when she offered to water our plants while we were visiting your college friends? And that time she brought over leftover dinner while we were both at work? She has our spare key, David realizes, his face going pale. She's been going through our personal documents, David. Our bank statements, my work emails, everything. That's how she knew about my job situation, our finances, all the personal details she's been using to manipulate people. My phone buzzes with a text from my sister Amy. Sarah, David's mom says you've been talking about postponing the wedding indefinitely because you're having doubts about marriage in general. She says you told her you're not sure you're ready to be a Morrison. Is this true? Then another from my cousin Jessica. Hey girl, got a weird call from your future MIL. She says you're struggling with anxiety and asked if I noticed you acting strange at cousin Mike's birthday party last weekend. What's going on? David, she's not just calling my immediate family. She's contacting extended relatives, friends, coworkers. She's telling everyone I'm having a mental breakdown. My work phone starts ringing. It's my supervisor, Mark. Sarah, I just got a very concerning call from someone claiming to be your mother-in-law. She said you're dealing with some personal issues and might need time off for mental health reasons. The room starts spinning. Linda isn't just sabotaging our wedding anymore, she's trying to destroy my reputation, my career, my relationships with everyone I care about. Mark, I need you to know that whatever Linda Morrison told you is completely false. I'm not having any mental health issues, and I definitely didn't ask her to contact my workplace. She seemed to know quite a bit about your work situation, Mark says carefully. She mentioned the Henderson project and your presentation next week. Information she could only know from going through my work laptop or personal files at home. Sarah, maybe you should take today off anyway, Mark continues. This whole situation sounds very stressful. After I hang up, David is already on the phone with a locksmith. We need our locks changed immediately, he's saying. Emergency service. But I'm staring at my phone as more messages flood in. Linda has been busy since last night, contacting every person in my life with variations of the same story. I'm having a breakdown, I'm not ready for marriage, I'm causing drama for the Morrison family, and everyone should be concerned about my mental state. The scope of her attack is breathtaking. And terrifyingly effective. My phone rings again. This time it's Jennifer, our wedding photographer. Sarah, I owe you an apology. After talking to your brother-in-law last night, I did some thinking. Linda Morrison's behavior seemed very strange, so I called 2 other photographers she contacted about Tyler's wedding. She told them the same story about you canceling, and she had the same detailed vendor information for all of them. What does that mean? It means she's been planning this for a while. And Sarah? One of the photographers recognized her. Linda tried to hire him 3 months ago to follow you and David around, claiming she wanted to surprise you with candid photos as an engagement gift. My blood runs completely cold. She was having us stalked? The photographer declined because something felt off about the request. But Sarah, if she was trying to hire people to follow you months ago, this goes way deeper than just wedding venue drama. The revelation about Linda trying to have us stalked sends David into a rage I've never seen before. He's pacing our living room like a caged animal, his hands clenched into fists. 3 months ago, he keeps repeating. She was planning this 3 months before Tyler even got engaged. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Linda's character assassination campaign is working exactly as she planned. My college roommate texted asking if I need professional help. My boss called again, this time suggesting I take the rest of the week off to get my head together. Even my hairdresser canceled my appointment for next week, saying she doesn't want to get involved in family drama. But it's the call from David's Aunt Patricia that breaks my heart completely. Sarah, honey, I think you should know, Patricia's voice is careful, measured. Linda called Grandma Ruth this morning. She's saying you threatened her last night, that you got violent and David had to physically restrain you. That's completely untrue, I whisper. I know it is. But Ruth is 86 years old, and Linda sounded very convincing. She's talking about getting a restraining order against you. The phone slips from my numb fingers. A restraining order would mean I couldn't attend family events, couldn't go to David's parents' house, couldn't even be near Linda at her own wedding if she decided to show up. David catches the phone before it hits the floor. Patricia, what exactly did my mother tell Grandma Ruth? She said Sarah has been harassing her for weeks, making threatening phone calls, and that last night was the final straw. She claims Sarah physically lunged at her and screamed that she'd destroy the Morrison family if Linda didn't back down. Jesus Christ, David breathes. She's completely rewriting what happened. David, you need to know, Linda's not just calling family anymore. She contacted Pastor Williams at First Methodist. She told him Sarah comes from a troubled background and asked if he thought she was psychologically fit for marriage. Pastor Williams. The man who's supposed to officiate our wedding in 6 weeks. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold the phone when it rings again. It's my mother, and she sounds terrified. Sarah, I just got another call from Linda Morrison. She says you've been sending her threatening text messages and that she has screenshots. She wants me to intervene before you do something you'll regret. Mom, I haven't sent her any messages. She read me one of them, Sarah. It was your phone number, and it said you picked the wrong family to mess with, Linda. I know where you live. The blood drains from my face. Mom, I never sent that message. But it came from your phone number. David grabs my phone and pulls up my message history. There it is, a text to Linda Morrison sent at 11:47 p.m. last night, long after we'd gotten home from the family meeting. A message I never wrote, from my own phone. She spoofed my number, I realize in horror. She's sending herself threatening messages using fake text apps that show my phone number. David is already scrolling through more messages I didn't send. Sarah, there are 6 texts here. All threatening, all from last night after we got home. The messages are perfectly crafted to make me sound unhinged. This isn't over, Linda. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Your precious family will see who you really are. David, how is she doing this? There are apps that let you spoof phone numbers. She can make it look like any message came from your phone. His face is white with rage. She's creating evidence for her restraining order. My work phone rings again. This time it's our HR director. Sarah, we need to talk. I've received some very serious complaints about your conduct. Can you come in this afternoon? The walls are closing in from every direction. Linda isn't just sabotaging our wedding, she's systematically destroying my life, my career, my reputation, using methods I never could have imagined. But then Tyler calls David's phone, and his voice is tight with anger. David, I think I know how to stop her. Mom made one mistake. She tried to get Melissa's sister to call off work today to check on Sarah's mental state. But Melissa's sister is a paralegal. What does that mean? It means she knows harassment when she sees it. And she recorded Mom's phone call. The recording Tyler's sister-in-law made changes everything. Her name is Rebecca, and she's been a paralegal for 8 years. When she calls me directly, her voice is crisp and professional. Sarah, I want you to know that Linda Morrison contacted me at 7:15 this morning, claiming to be concerned about your welfare. She asked me to perform what amounts to a welfare check on you, suggesting you might be a danger to yourself or others. My stomach drops. She what? She specifically asked me to go to your workplace and inform your supervisor that you're experiencing a psychological crisis and shouldn't be trusted with important projects. When I asked how she got my number, she said David gave it to her because the family is rallying around you during this difficult time. David grabs the phone. Rebecca, I never gave my mother your number. I don't even have your number. I figured as much. That's when I started recording the conversation. Sarah, Linda Morrison asked me to document any erratic behavior I observed and report back to her with details about your emotional state, your work performance, and whether I thought you posed a threat to the Morrison family. The calculated nature of Linda's attack is becoming horrifyingly clear. She's not just spreading rumors, she's trying to build a legal case against me. Rebecca, would you be willing to share that recording with us? I'm already emailing it to Tyler. But Sarah, there's something else. Linda mentioned that she has documentation of your threatening behavior going back several weeks. She specifically referenced an incident at Carrabba's restaurant on September 8th where you allegedly caused a scene and had to be escorted out. I've never been to Carrabba's, I say immediately. And I definitely wasn't escorted out of anywhere on September 8th. That's what I thought. So I did some digging. There's no incident report filed with Carrabba's for that date involving anyone named Sarah Chin. But Linda was very specific about the details. She said you threw a wine glass and screamed at the waitstaff. David is frantically taking notes. She's creating a completely fictional history of Sarah having public outbursts. Here's the concerning part, Rebecca continues. If Linda files for a restraining order, she'll present all of this evidence to a judge. The fake text messages, the fabricated restaurant incident, testimony from family members who only heard her side of the story. Even if it's all lies, a judge might grant a temporary restraining order just to be safe. My phone buzzes with a notification. It's an email from Linda Morrison with the subject line, Final Warning. Sarah, the email reads, your behavior has become increasingly concerning to everyone who cares about you. The threatening messages, the erratic outbursts, the attempts to turn David's family against me, this needs to stop before someone gets hurt. I'm prepared to take legal action to protect my family if necessary. Please get the help you need. She sent copies to David, Tyler, my parents, and what looks like half the Morrison family contact list. David, she's building a paper trail, I realize with growing panic. Every lie she's told, every fake incident she's reported, she's documenting it all as if it really happened. Tyler's voice comes through the speaker, tight with controlled rage. There's more. Mom called Melissa's parents this morning. She told them Melissa shouldn't be around you because you've been fixated on their wedding and making threats about disrupting it. What kind of threats? She said you've been calling their vendors, trying to sabotage their bookings. She told them you're jealous that Tyler found a venue when you couldn't afford one yourself. The irony would be laughable if it weren't so terrifying. Linda is accusing me of doing exactly what she's been doing to us. But here's the thing, Tyler continues, Mom doesn't know that I've been documenting everything since last night. Every vendor she called, every family member she contacted, every lie she told. Melissa and I spent all morning creating a timeline with phone records and screenshots. Tyler, that's brilliant, but will it be enough to stop a restraining order? Rebecca's voice cuts in again. It might be. But Sarah, you need to file a police report immediately. Linda Morrison is engaging in harassment, identity theft, and possibly fraud. The longer you wait, the more time she has to build her fictional case against you. As if summoned by our conversation, my phone rings. It's Detective Maria Santos from the local police department. Ms. Chen, I've received some concerning reports about ongoing harassment involving you and Linda Morrison. I'd like to speak with you at your earliest convenience. My heart stops. Linda called the police first. The meeting with Detective Santos happens at 2 p.m., and I'm terrified she'll believe Linda's carefully constructed lies over our evidence. But Tyler, Melissa, Rebecca, and David all show up with me, armed with recordings, screenshots, and a timeline that spans 3 weeks. Detective Santos is a sharp-eyed woman in her 40s who listens without interruption as we present our case. The fake venue emails, the spoofed text messages, the systematic vendor sabotage, the recorded phone calls to my family and employers, it's all laid out chronologically. Ms. Chen, Detective Santos says finally, Mrs. Morrison filed a harassment complaint against you this morning at 8:15 a.m. She claims you've been stalking her, making threats, and attempting to ruin her son's wedding out of jealousy. My heart sinks until she continues. However, her timeline doesn't match the evidence she provided. She claims you sent threatening texts at 11:47 p.m. last night, but her phone records show she was active on multiple text spoofing apps between 11:30 p.m. and midnight. Tyler sits forward. You can see that? Phone companies track everything, Mr. Morrison. Your mother also made a crucial error. She claimed Ms. Chen confronted her at Carrabba's restaurant on September 8th, but restaurant security footage shows Mrs. Morrison eating alone that evening. There's no record of Ms. Chen being there at all. Relief floods through me as Detective Santos continues reviewing Linda's lies. The most concerning evidence is this recording of Mrs. Morrison asking a paralegal to file false reports about Ms. Chen's mental state with her employer. That constitutes harassment with intent to damage employment, which is a misdemeanor in this state. What happens now? David asks. I'm issuing a cease and desist order against Linda Morrison. If she contacts Ms. Chen, her family, friends, employers, or wedding vendors again, she'll face criminal charges. Her harassment complaint against Ms. Chen is being dismissed due to fabricated evidence. 3 hours later, we're back at Sunset Ridge Vineyard meeting with Amanda, who looks mortified about the chaos Linda created. Ms. Chen, I owe you a huge apology, Amanda says, pulling out a thick folder. After Detective Santos called, I reviewed all our communications with Mrs. Morrison. She contacted us 17 times in 3 weeks, each time with a different story about your booking. 17 times? David asks in disbelief. She called pretending to be you, Ms. Chen, trying to cancel your booking. She called pretending to be your wedding planner, asking for vendor contact lists. She even called pretending to be your mother, saying you were eloping and wanted a refund. Amanda slides a printed email across the table. This is the fake cancellation email she showed Tyler and Melissa. She created it using our letterhead template from our website, but she made several errors. Wrong address, misspelled my name, and used an old logo we haven't used since 2022. The relief of having our venue secure feels incredible, but Tyler looks devastated. Melissa and I still don't have anywhere to get married. It's 6 weeks until October 15th. That's when Amanda smiles. Actually, I have a solution. We had a last-minute cancellation for October 22nd, another couple broke up last week. It's the same package Mrs. Morrison booked for you, and since she paid with a fraudulent complaint, we're refunding her deposit and offering you the date at a 20% discount. Melissa starts crying with relief. October 22nd would be perfect. It's still fall, still beautiful weather. And, Amanda adds, I'm personally guaranteeing that Linda Morrison is banned from our property. Security has her photo, and she'll be escorted off the premises if she shows up. 2 weeks later, my phone rings at 6 p.m. It's Frank, David's father, and his voice is heavy with exhaustion. Sarah, I wanted you to know, Linda and I are separating. She moved in with her sister this morning. I sink onto our couch, not sure how to respond. The family meeting 2 weeks ago, the police investigation, all of it finally showed me who she really is. 34 years of marriage, and I never saw the extent of her manipulation until she turned it on you. Frank, I'm sorry this happened to your family. Don't apologize, Sarah. You exposed the truth. Linda destroyed her own family with her lies and schemes. The rest of us are just grateful you fought back instead of quietly canceling your wedding like she hoped. On October 15th, David and I get married at Sunset Ridge Vineyard exactly as we planned 6 months ago. The weather is perfect, the food is incredible, and our photographer Jennifer captures every beautiful moment. Linda doesn't show up. The restraining order Detective Santos helped me file ensures she can't come within 500 feet of our wedding. Tyler and Melissa's wedding the following week is smaller but lovely, and Linda's absence makes it feel lighter somehow. The family has rallied around them, and Grandma Ruth gives a toast about new beginnings and honest hearts. 6 months later, Linda sends David a letter asking for forgiveness and claiming she was protecting the family from my obvious gold-digging intentions. David throws it away without reading it twice. Our marriage is strong, built on the foundation of surviving Linda's worst attempts to destroy it. And sometimes, late at night, I think about how different things would have been if I'd just quietly changed our wedding date like she wanted. Instead, I fought back against her manipulation and won my place in the Morrison family through truth, evidence, and refusing to be bullied. It was the best decision I ever made.